All right, everybody, this is an episode of the Stephen Bones Everything podcast, and today I have Mr. Jeremy Teo on the show with me.
Hello, hello, hello.
And full disclosure, we've just finished an episode of the Chap Fan show with Joanne Kam and BB Kepo, and we've been like chatting for a while now. And I actually asked Jeremy, "Hey, Jeremy, will you be free to come on my podcast one day?" He's like, "Yeah, man, yeah, why not, man? Let's do it." And then we kept talking. And then like we went over like a whole bunch of stuff, and the whole time like I was thinking like, man, this would be really good on a podcast.
And basically what's gonna happen is we will have no more content now because we talked about everything already earlier on. So
Yeah. All done.
where are we gonna go from here, man?
Yeah. This is a Marvel movie where the whole movie is just the post credits lah.
That's a good way of putting it. I like it.
Oh. Okay, Jeremy. Because we were okay. Let's take it from the point where we were talking about your career, because you worked in radio.
Yeah.
And then like the radio building you and you building them, and let's start from there.
Okay. So like I guess to give context, right? Like for everybody who doesn't know who I am or whatever, like I've worked in radio. I was with a radio station. I was with two radio stations. Actually, I started my career at Trax FM. And then after that, I moved to Red FM, and I was there until the whole place shut down. And then in the meantime as well, I did TV shows and I hosted live events and that kind of stuff. And earlier on, and basically nowadays, I find myself hosting events mostly as my work. So I'm a freelance MC, a voiceover talent as well, and a big part of my income, so to speak, comes from hosting events like. And during this time and uncertainty of the coronavirus, I guess everybody's just trying to figure out what we're gonna do with our lives. Like what happens after this? Because there's not gonna be any events for the longest time.
Yeah. Is my Maggie telur mata good enough to sell by the side of the road when I buka gerai?
It's not. I tried. Nobody wanted to buy. Okay, so one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is this simple fact that like for myself, for example, I have been very fortunate to have worked with companies that hired me for my skills, so to speak. So like, radio, like you work radio station lah, and then from there you kind of like build a reputation for yourself and you get known, and then you use that as other outlets. But in this day and age right now, there's no like I'm not Jeremy Teo from Red FM anymore. I'm just trying to be Jeremy Teo. But the question is, what is Jeremy Teo all about? And I guess that's the grand dilemma I think a lot of people are finding these days, especially in this time.
Yeah, because we were talking about like my journey as a content creator, like being, because I was doing like voiceovers for like what 8-9 years up to that point,
man.
and now I'm in the 10-year mark. So I hit that comfort zone, which I think maybe you hit as well, because like you're doing well, you're earning well, so you're comfortable.
You can sustain a life lah. You know what I mean?
You
like
can sustain your life, yeah. And then suddenly, like, for me, it was quite a crippling bout of depression that kind of like set me on this path, because like I have like at that time I was very aware that I have a family to feed now, and then I was like, the bills are piling up. I gotta find a way to supplement my income and like work a bit harder. But I'm also the type where like I can't just like start a business for the sake of starting a business.
Yeah.
I'm not that Chinaman. So like,
I would go as far as to say, right, any Chinese person who's ever been in radio or on radio, definitely not Chinaman already. Like, they have revoked our Chinese card. Okay.
this fella talk too much English. Yeah, but so the content creation thing kind of started for me because I tried stand up, and then I was like, you know what? I think my thing is to make people laugh, so I want to get better at that. So in a way, like with stand up, one thing they keep preaching within the stand up world is like finding your own voice, finding out who you are, and from there expressing yourself, right, through comedy. But I think that there's very real world applications for that stuff. So like you were mentioning about yourself, like previously it was like Jeremy Teo from Red FM, Jeremy Teo from this station, Jeremy Teo, this guy, that thing, and then now suddenly it's like, not to say who is Jeremy Teo, but it's like, yeah, on a fundamental level, who is Jeremy Teo, and now Jeremy Teo has to just be Jeremy Teo lah.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely
I mean,
right. Because there's no more radio station. You know what I mean? There's no more any of
Yeah.
these things. And and I think like anybody who's been in the entertainment industry, or anybody's been a performer, you are like your last gig lah, for example. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so there's a little bit of that happens, and it's been an interesting scenario lah. Like I'm constantly trying to explore that and have it pay my bills at the same time, because that's really important. And so far things have been going all right, but it's been an interesting couple of years since the station shut down, because because I'm sure you understand as well, once you've been tied into like anything for the longest period of time, like most of my adult life was working for a radio station, and to have like that taken away, and then you're just like, oh, okay, where do I go from here? What do I do now?
Yeah.
And even if you felt like, I'm more than a radio station, I am my own person, like, yes, but that was such a big chunk of like the day you spent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was what people knew you for. So your identity gets tied into that a little bit, and just trying to figure out where to go from there is quite interesting. Like, it didn't help also that like my fiance broke up with me also like 1 year after that. So I felt like it was like things falling apart season lah,
Gosh, the whole fiance thing didn't come up in our pre-recording conversation.
So I thought I'd give you something new lah, give you some juicy for your podcast. Like any performer will know, you hold a couple of tricks back on, and then you surprise.
Oh my god. So
Yeah.
So okay, I guess this would be sort of like prime time for like the Jeremy Teo revamp self-discovery show kind of thing lah. Would it? I mean, no, not as like a show, but it's like, yeah, this is the time where like the tide, it feels like every tide is working against you, and you just have to like figure out who you are and stand as firm as you can, and like just like pull through, right? For somehow.
It's very interesting you say it like that, because that is legitimate a thought that I had. So what happened was when my fiance broke up with me, and we broke up like 2-3 years ago lah. So I'm not like heartbroken or right now, whatever, right?
Okay lah, yeah lah. It's like
Whatever lah. I'm down. No pain, no feelings already. Okay, I left it outside in the dark. But what happened was, like part of the conflict that was leading up, some of the undertones to kind of like the issues that we had, was the whole like, okay, so now you don't have radio. Like, what are you gonna do? What's your plan? Like, are you gonna get a job or whatever? And all my life, I've always lived as somebody who's kind of like, I gotta go with my feeling a little bit. Like, if it feels right, then I will do it. If it doesn't feel right, no matter how I try and force it, it never turns out the way it's supposed to. Or even if it turns out well, I'm never truly happy with it. In fact, I don't even want it, even if it turns out well.
Yeah, I completely get what you mean on a crazy level.
Yeah.
Because before I started doing stand-up and getting into the video making stuff, I was running this thing called the Voice Guild. I was the president.
Yes, I'm a member of the Voice Guild. I know you're president.
I know. Yeah. So as much praise I was getting for it, I was also getting a lot of grief on it as well. I was also like very unhappy in that position, and I'm the type where like, I don't have that thing where like, oh, once work is done, I'm off.
Yeah.
Like, no, I take things with me till I sleep, till I wake up, till I die, and then when I die, like that stuff comes out, into the world as sulfur or something like that, and it's poisonous. So I wasn't, as much as like I got praised for it, I didn't feel I was very good at that role. So when I went into the comedy side, I kind of felt like, okay, I think this is more my lane. This is more of where I think I will find more happiness here. I think there's a better chance of me finding what Japanese people call ikigai, Where,
Oh, I know that
there's
word.
Like a
Yes,
full
ikigai,
alignment of
ikigai.
everything you are.
Yeah. From like
yeah.
stuff you like, stuff you want to do, stuff you're good at doing, stuff that pays you.
Yes, the
Yeah.
holy trifecta lah.
Yeah.
So I kind of found it through that. And also the thing I want to ask is, was your girlfriend Chinese?
Yeah, she was.
That explains everything about the. Wow, what are you gonna do now? What's your plan? Like, are you gonna run your own company so that I can have children and then I can stay home and then your company pays for everything?
Well, I don't know if that was her plan, but
Yeah.
obviously
It's built
it's a conflict lah. Like there's this thing
Yeah.
lah, and this is when I realized at that point that I like I can say like people like you and me, Steven. I don't think we've led lives that are average in the things that we've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just the kind of like freedom we've had a little bit to just kind of like chase the curiosities like, oh, I'm interested in this, I try and do lah. I'm interested in that, I try and do lah. I can do this lah. You know what I mean? And then even in the things that we do, a little bit different. What? Voice over talent, I mean, because you're president of Voice Geek, you know a lot, but you throw a stone, you ask anybody, do anybody else do voice over? No, right?
Yeah.
Radio announcer, you know who they are, but how many people actually get to do the job? So, and as somebody who spent most of the adult life living this kind of like a little bit left of the mainstream kind of thing, you just feel like you have no skills for the mainstream anymore. I swear to God, like I know how to use Microsoft. I know how to use like Premiere, Adobe Premiere. I know how to use. I know how to take pictures. I know how to edit on Lightroom. I don't know how to use Excel.
I don't know how to balance a profit and loss balance sheet.
I swear to God, I really don't. Okay.
I cannot do
Okay,
accounting.
I don't. Okay, I don't. Okay, I don't know how to do that.
I know that
It's-
feeling.
It's just like,
Oh my god.
right?
It's legit
So-
though, it's legit. Yeah.
It's legit. So it's one of those things, right? Where you feel like, and you're going with your gut here as well. It's not that you're being stubborn. You're trying to find, like for me, like at least I was trying to find like what was a good fit, what was something that made me happy lah. That that satisfied whatever feeling that I had, that could also take me to like lead the life that I wanted to lead. And the life that I wanted to lead, and I know very early on, is not the Rolex, BMW, Mercedes life. Great if that happens, but I am happiest like as long as my electricity bills are paid and my internet speed is damn fast, I can stay home and play games and buy whatever game I want. Like that is like the best for me. And so now I'm trying to say like, okay, what else? What can I do that will not get in the way of that? That also will like make me happy, or I will enjoy doing just like I enjoy playing video games, for example. And that's the tough thing. A lot of people, I think, go through life trying to figure it out. Some people like get distracted and they realize that, oh, you know what? I got other things I enjoy. I enjoy this job. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy this. Like, but for somebody like I think us, who've had a little bit more freedom in, and actually found like a little bit of success lah in being able to do it. You know what I mean? Like obviously when you can do it for work and you have it pay your bills, that's some form of success already, right?
Yeah.
And you've done that for a number of years, and you feel like, oh, I want to catch this high again. I want to keep it going lah.
Like this is the gold standard now. This is like, if I start anything, this needs to be it, right? There's a little bit of that, yeah.
You need to have that feeling a little bit, or at least you need to like get the sense that you have exhausted every single possible option, and you know you have failed,
Yeah.
right? And then you go, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time I sell Maggi goreng by the roadside. And if that were to come, I have no qualms about saying, okay lah, you know what? Let's just go lah, because Maggi goreng also can buy game what.
Yeah, but if you're making going very bad, you cannot.
Ayo, then you make sure you hire somebody who can. That's how you become Chinese. You're like, okay, outsource.
Oh my god. I can't cook a good Maggi goreng, but I can buy Maggi by the bulk. Buy Maggi in bulk.
Maybe I know the Maggi supplier and I can work out a deal and he can sell to me cheaper. I can sell my Maggi goreng for cheaper. Then if my Maggi goreng not nice, still cheap people will buy.
Let me give my contact at Nestle a call.
This is when you really hope you started doing like MC jobs for Nestle. You're like a friend, like, hey bro, I'm thinking of like changing my game a little bit.
Let me pitch this to you. Roadside Maggi goreng.
Okay, so now I have a question for you though. Like for yourself, right? Like I know you also like worn many hats. Like you had a band, you like radio, you do voiceovers, and now you're a content creator. But when people ask you what you do, what is your answer normally? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I still don't have a straight answer for that. Like, there's a very good reason why my Facebook channel is called, or my Facebook page is called Stephen Bones Everything. It was because this has been an ongoing problem for me because I tried to get into, like, I've been a voiceover for a while, and then I like a few years ago I thought like, okay, I want to get into MCing, right? Just pursue a new thing, and then I wanted to go into it cold. That means like without any like infamy or anything, just as a voice talent wanting to move into this new field lah. And my friend was like, a good friend of mine was like saying, dude, you're a singer, and then now you're doing this comedian thing, and then you're a voiceover guy, like, and then now you're saying you're MC. So what the hell are you trying to sell to people? What are you putting on your business card? Because if people see like 4 different job descriptions, they're probably gonna think you're a master of none, and that you're not focused, right? So when it came to that moment where I had video ideas and I wanted to set up my Facebook page, because Facebook page, you have to name it, right? You have to give it a name.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, how lah? Because I don't know what this page is gonna be. I don't know what I'm gonna put on this page. I don't know what I'm gonna do on this page. And then like I don't even know if it's gonna be just a straight up comedy thing, or it's gonna be like a singing thing or a voiceover thing, or what, I don't know. So I was like, okay, but I have to give it a name, and I guess it's a one-stop shop kind of thing. So what can I call it? Everything lah. Stephen Bones Everything.
I mean, it's worked out pretty well. Oh,
Yeah.
no complaints.
I was very aware of the innuendo and all this kind of stuff, but I was like, okay lah, in a nutshell, it kind of explains everything lah. Like, although no one will get it except me, but it was like, it kind of explains everything to me because, like, even this podcast, right? Dude, I know I should have told you before you came on, but like this podcast, I don't know how many listeners this podcast has.
It's
Like
fine.
none of my podcasts go viral, you know. It's not Joe Rogan level or anything.
I don't
but,
think podcasts go viral, you know, unless you really smoke weed
That's
with
true.
Elon Musk lah. You know what I mean?
That's true,
If you
that's
get if you get a podcast interview with Azmin, I guarantee you your podcast will go viral. Are you try?
Do you
That
have
is my-
Azmin's
that-
phone number?
I don't lah, bro.
Do you have
Like, if I
Azmin's
did
phone
also, I
number
would
and a pot dealer's phone number? No, but okay, like for me, like the parody songs and comedy videos I did because like I was like, okay lah, I can do this and like people like it, so let me do more. Sort of discover myself, you know. And I've been able to find out more about myself as I went down that road. The podcasting initially started with me as a single guy screaming into the dark abyss kind of thing. Like that's how my initial podcasts were, just one man screaming into the darkness. And I liked it because it was like a data dump for my brain, like a therapeutic thing where like I could just, instead of like, you know, like, oh, I'm trying to like organize all my thoughts into this one amazing piece of work, I could just like bleh, just like like crap a whole bunch of stuff out, vomit and let it go so later on I can do something productive lah. And then after that I was like, okay, maybe I should start talking to people now, because I genuinely have a hard time socializing with people.
Okay.
Like in a normal setting, because like, dude, like conversations like this where it's 1-to-1 and there's no distractions and we're just able to just ignore time and ignore everything and just talk. Like it's, I don't know if people notice, but to me it's very, very rare. It's
I
very
personally
rare.
enjoy these interactions a lot more though, because they seem like you really get to know a person a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, you know, and I'm not one for small talk. I don't like asking like, how's the weather been for you? And like, you know, oh, did you try the new shirt? Oh my god, that shirt was like, I don't give a shit about shirt. I know we're wearing the same shirt, but I don't give a shit about shirt.
It's because you know where my shirt is from, bro.
Exactly. We all shop at the same places, right? Oh man. So like, so the podcast sort of like evolved into this thing where like, you know, I like talking to people. I like this whole intimate setting. So I was like, you know what? If I enjoy it so much, maybe I should like take this down and release it, because, you know, maybe someone else will find value from this, because I gain a lot whenever I talk to people like this,
Right.
like in this format.
Yeah.
Like whether it's with comedians or people in other people in the arts fields or whatever, the amount of value I get out of it, in terms of like life lessons or just wisdom or just like their experiences, I gain so much. It's insane, dude. It's insane. And now I'm like, oh, I should have like recorded every freaking conversation I had of this nature that I had. But I'm like, okay, let's just do it now and focus on this lah. So honestly, if this podcast, like 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, if it turns into something big and great, fine. If it doesn't, I'm perfectly happy as well, because I would have gained so much from it. And whoever listens, I hope like gets something out of it. And also, I don't remember why I went into this tangent, because I've been like drinking. So
It's true. Steven's been drinking like all night, and we've been talking
Yeah.
since like 9:30. He's been drinking since 9:30.
it's like what, 1:15 now?
Yeah, 1:15. So well done, lah, Steven. Well done. I'm just drinking my bottle of 100 plus. I gotta go pee soon. But no, I'm just kidding. So it's fine. I got a bottle. I'll pee into it on podcast. I'll be fine.
Yeah. No, but okay. I think we were talking about like how was it, like how I got into this, or like why I got into this, or why I stuck around for it, or what do I get out of it, or like
I asked you, what do you answer when people ask you what you are doing, like what you do, which is
Oh my
which is a problem that I have as well. So I thought it'd be interesting to hear what you say, because like let's say for example, it's very annoying for me. Like when it comes to like filling immigration forms and they ask you your occupation, I'm like, shit, I don't even know what to fill in this one. Like,
Yeah.
oh no.
I have been toying with this idea as a joke, where like if you need a qualifier of what you do before your name, you're probably not famous, or you're not famous anymore. So if like one day when Jerry Seinfeld goes up on stage, right? If the MC has to say, introducing comedian Jerry Seinfeld, okay, Seinfeld is like, he's not a household name anymore. If you go to like the Future Music Festival and someone says, your next act, DJ Steve Aoki, you're like, all right, okay lah, Steve Aoki's
It's dropped. Okay. But the people in Singapore, they don't know who I am. Market different a little bit.
Yeah.
People,
No, but
people in Malaysia
I-
also don't know who I am, but Singapore a bit like harder lah.
Yeah, but I think I still don't know what I would categorize myself as.
Content
but I
creator.
I don't really like that thing, because it just sounds like content creator sounds like a title someone gives themselves when all they do is just complain on Facebook and YouTube and whatever. Like, hey, what do you do? I'm a content creator. Oh, what kind of content do you create? I just troll. I just post. I just get angry on the internet, and that's all I do. But I am slowly starting to embrace the role of comedian, because I find that as much as I call myself a voiceover talent or a singer, right, I feel that being a comedian, I'm able to create a bigger impact on the world.
Okay.
I'm slowly starting to accept me calling myself that. Yeah, because I genuinely had a problem like calling myself a comedian, because I was like, but I'm not like, I've only started this comedy thing a couple of years ago. I'm not like that great at stand-up comedy. I mean, I do it, but I'm not like amazing at it. There are like guys who are more amazing than me, so I don't feel worthy to be called this. Yeah, voiceover can lah, but it's something I do that I'm good at for a living, but it's not what occupies my mental space the most these days.
Oh, so interesting.
Yeah, so I think it really is a bit of that. So yeah, comedian. I'm slowly warming up to the term comedian.
So like for you, like the comedian is kind of like your identity lah, a little bit lah. Like in your head, you think of yourself as a comedian more than anything else, because that's what you spend most of your energy on.
Yeah, partly because I do. like after I started stand up, right? The biggest thing that clicked in my head was like, you know what? Growing up, I wanted to be two things. One was either a rock star or a cartoon. So, I did the whole rock band thing and all that. I didn't get the rock star status. I've been in some like cartoons, voice for some cartoons and all that. So I've lived that part. But I think deep down, I've reconciled with the fact that at the bare bones of it, I am an entertainer at heart. I like entertaining people. I like making people feel different or sometimes even feel good. And when I went to stand up, it became very apparent to me that I just want to make people laugh, and somehow I'm still Chinese lah, so there's still that thing with like, if I make enough people laugh, and they laugh after a while, somehow I will get money out of this. So
It's
the
true.
ikigai thing's like, yeah,
It's
right?
true. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is really that, like, if I make people laugh, and the more people I make laugh, and the better I get at making people laugh, that somehow it will become something positive in my life lah. That's really where I'm coming from. That's
think that's
really it.
That sounds like you've got like a pretty good handle on things actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stressed out and like overworked as crap, but the thing that keeps me going is that, you know what? I don't mind working myself to the bone, but if someone laughs, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
If it's just one person and like I don't know them or whatever, I might think twice, but if if I know there's like a decent pool of people, I'm like, all right, or especially myself, if I like it, I'll just go for it. Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Like you see, if you were in the Last Dance documentary, if you were Michael Jordan right now, this clip will be the final shot already one. And then we can roll credits, and then you can do your whole like sitting by the window, brooding a little bit.
Yeah. And then follow up by the worst episode of MTV Cribs. Oh, check it out, guys. This is the house that I still do not own because the bank owns it.
That's the thing about like the scene in Malaysia though. I think like the entertainment scene in Malaysia is quite an interesting one because like if you were an actor or a singer, it's not the easiest, I think, path to take.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's just
Yeah.
it feels like the cards are stacked against you, like this one. Like unlike in America, the cards are stacked against you, but if you're successful, you're really successful one, Malaysia,
Yeah, I know.
you successful, maybe you can buy Honda Accord.
Yeah. And with Malaysia, like the other thing is that if you are not in the BM market, the Bahasa market, you have just done yourself a huge disservice. You've just like you've shot yourself in the thigh lah, in terms of like success.
Yeah. I think especially if you're talking like if you're targeting Malaysians lah.
Yeah.
But I think that's the great thing about like the stuff that you do as well. Like there is a kind of universality to it. Like with the internet, right? Nothing is truly just Malaysia. You know what I mean? If it is good enough, it will make its way to wherever the hell it will make its way to, lah.
Yeah. I mean that is kind of like the part of the quest where like, yeah, you want to make things local and like put the local stuff on the map, but also you every now and then you're wondering like, oh, but what if I try to like, keep a more international audience in mind, so that they're able to get in on the joke as well. It is a genuine thought lah. But then at the same time, I've also come to understand that if the moment you try to be too international, you're competing with everything international. And that sometimes will work against you because, when you're trying to go on that international level, you kind of become like a diluted version of yourself, maybe.
You think so?
I sometimes do think so and I do like ask friends this question when they say like, oh, should I like make my content more international rather than localize things more? Like, should I bring up more international stories rather than local stories? And I'm like, dude, how many people in the world are bringing up international stories? And how many people are looking for it? Clearly there's a bigger number looking for it. But there's also a very big number doing it.
Correct.
What what is unique about you when it comes to that angle? Right? Are you that much of, are you able to differentiate yourself that much?
Okay. Yeah.
But when you tackle the local stories, there is a chance that there is someone from outside of the local circles that is specifically looking for a local perspective. You know, and that might work for them, and then you might start gaining something else. You know, so I don't know. Like, I've not coached anyone to like success or anything like that. So please do not take this advice simply because I said.
I think this is the fascinating thing, right? I think like for yourself right now, because it's gonna be fascinating for you because right now you're gonna be like you're trying to figure it out, and 2 years down the line, 1 year down the line, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a little bit more of an answer, and then you're gonna be like, and you're gonna look back at this, you're gonna be like, oh man, how right was I, or how wrong was I? Oh man, if only I knew then what I know now.
Yeah,
and that gets quite exciting actually, if you ask me.
But I have been a big proponent of just doing. You know, you don't need to have the answer. You don't need to know what you want to do. You don't need to know what you're supposed to do. Just do something. You know, just do something, because the moment you do it, then you're like, okay, does this feel right? Yes. Okay, let me do it again. You know, does this feel right? Yes. Let me do it again. Let me try this thing that's different. Oh, it doesn't feel that good. Okay, let me try that again. Let me try something else. Oh, this feels better. Let me go that. You know, or when you try something new, does this feel right? No, I hate it. I don't know. This is the last thing I want to do ever again. Okay, back away and then try something else. So like I know there like Yuri, like we were talking about Yuri Wong, right? So Yuri's been putting out all this like advice on Facebook about like how to find your
Create
direction,
value,
and, create value and strategy when it comes to content creation and all. Which, you know, again, I spoke to him before I started my journey, and like he gave a lot of great input, but I was struggling so much with, okay, I can do this, but what should I put out?
Yeah.
You know, what should I actually do?
Yeah.
And then when it came the time where like I did comedy and I was like, okay, I just need to do something. The fact that I just need to do something, I don't care whether it's good, bad, like crappy or whatever. Let me just put something out. Let me just not get in my own way, do something. I don't care how smart it sounds. I don't care how stupid it sounds. I don't care how good or bad it is. I just need to put something out. You know, I put something out and then suddenly, you know, like the universe starts to reveal itself.
Will you say this is like, it's suddenly very spiritual like that lah? Very spiritual lah you, Stephen. You see, either spiritual or you mabuk. That's what's happening.
Yeah, join my cult for $50 a month. We have regular Zoom meetings.
You don't have to worry about how to sell things. We will teach you how to find happiness in the
within
bottom
yourself.
of a glass.
Yes, at the bottom of a glass. Multiple glasses sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, so this whole like global pandemic situation.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We all messed up.
What? You know, so obviously you're in a position now where like, okay, the immediate work is not there. The future work is there's still question marks around it.
Correct.
And I've said this before in my other episodes where like I was saying like this whole pandemic, like whatever game plans or whatever weaknesses a country had in their infrastructure or systems or whatever, and even on individual level, if you have a weakness in your game plan, this thing kind of exposes it.
Yeah.
So it's very incumbent on you to either decide whether you want to like sit through this storm and weather it out and hope that you can go back to whatever you used to do, or you know, like hunker down and like just say, you know what, I'm not going down without a fight. I'm going to like, you know, I have to figure something out. You know, so which boat are you in right now? I'm not saying any boat is wrong, but
yeah. Okay, so like my personal philosophy has always been very go with the flow one. Right? So I have never like, I want to say never successfully, but that's also because I've never properly ever done it.
Okay.
Like set out a plan and seen it through to completion.
Yeah.
My entire life is like a series of like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's do this. Oh, this looks interesting. Let's do that. And then like you kind of ping pong from point to point to point, and then you end up where I am. Now, I see that is extremely reliant on like good fortune, luck, and like you better make sure like you save the drowning baby in your past life and the good karma is coming back to you. Like.
It's all feng shui, man. However you had your house arranged, it was right.
Right? So now I have I'm trying to think in terms of like, okay, obviously there are needs that need to be met. I'm trying to like think in terms of like what I can do, what's the potential, what am I good at, like how much like you can grow, or what are the opportunities here, right? But at the same time, that's going to be very reliant on what I personally find to be interesting
Yeah.
at that time. So it's a little bit of that combination of both. And the long game has always been trying to like think beyond the immediate kind of like work that you do.
Yeah.
But right now, I think because there isn't anything that I can do too much, I'm trying to find what I would like to do that interests me, for example. Like, you know, so like now with the Instagram thing, a bit layan taking pictures. Okay lah, take picture lah. You know, just like photo editing skills will come in eventually. It's
and we were talking about like how insane this was, right? Because you have some pretty good Instagram pictures. And the whole time, I thought you had a photographer with you. And then when you said you don't,
I don't.
and and then when you said you don't, and it was a lot of running back and forth, I'm like, okay, I get it if it's a shot where like you can hold the camera and it's like a couple of feet away from you and you just like, you know, but then your shots are like full body shots where you're like way far away from the camera. And I'm like, okay, you're not like, it's not like you're able to connect the camera to a computer screen or a bigger screen where you can see the final result right away and like tweak things as you go. So like what is the sorcery and who did you hire that you're not telling us about?
No lah. It's just, okay. So here's the thing, right? So like, let's first start off by saying that yes, you can get cameras that have like Bluetooth connection to your phone and you can like take picture via your phone. But my camera not so good because if I want to control the settings a little bit, I need to like set timer because the remote is just very basic auto mode only.
Yeah.
But the point is like this started because like, you know, like I also like to take pictures. Like Instagram needs to be fed, and like, I've been doing it for a while, and I keep seeing these really great pictures of other people. That like, you know, when you follow like photographer feeds and then you go like, oh, this picture's so cool. I wish I had a picture of myself like that. But the problem is, you're not gonna call up some random photographer friend of yours or a friend who knows how to take photos and be like, hey, can take this picture of me for me like this, right? And even if they can, it's just gonna be one picture.
Yeah.
And then takkan every single feed that if you want like a cool scene like this, you're gonna have like, oh, that guy's gonna hate you after like 2 times.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, like that, I try myself. So I try and I do that. And that's kind of like how I learned video editing as well. Like years ago, I just did like this. I used to do vlogs for the sake of just making vlogs. And even though nobody watched them, I'll make them because there was an interest in learning to edit a video. And like, oh, this scene very cool. I want to try and like do like that. Or how he do like that, I want to try and do like that. So then you just insert myself. I'm my own subject because I don't want to rely on anybody else. And I think, and I feel like for myself, this continuous non-reliance on other people is one of the things that I am coming to terms with as a trait of mine that I think a lot of people, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad lah. Like in a good way, you say it's like independence, right? But in a bad way, it's saying like you cannot be fucked with anybody else. You don't want to care, right?
Like you're not able to accept help. Like you're not able to ask for help.
Yeah, so that's the bad way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm now of the mindset that if there's something that I want and it's something for myself, I have to figure out a way to pull it off for myself. Like I may not be the best at like taking photos or video editing, but if I want to do it on a consistent level for myself to satisfy me as and when I need to do it, then I need to be able to do it for myself by myself. And if I get better at it, which I imagine that happens naturally as you do something over and over again, then great. And even if I don't, at least I'm able to do whatever I want because I can pull it off whenever I want. I don't have to say, like, imagine if I want to do podcast, I got to call you up to help me set up the audio equipment. Then whenever I got inspiration, I do podcast. Steven not free. Steven got to take care of his kids. I got a voiceover job. We got no time to care about me. Then I got to do podcast. Like, you know what I mean? That there is that thing there that drives me. And sometimes it doesn't pay off in the monetary sense or whatever, but it's very satisfying when I kind of like pursue these small little avenues of like, oh, how did Pillar get this effect or whatever? I want to try and do.
It's that satisfaction of like, if I had to do it, I know I can.
Yeah. But also for me, it runs a little bit deeper. The I don't want to have to rely on like people for my happiness and satisfaction in life. Like so this happens in so many forms, right? But this really struck when like earlier on we talked about fiance breaking up. Well, technically she didn't break up with me, okay? Like for the record, let's just say that we decided to mutually like end the relationship. All right?
Is that a fancy way of saying you broke up with her?
Let's not get into the details, bro. Okay, it's not that kind of podcast.
All right.
You don't know who's listening, okay? All right. So like
nobody. So mutual break.
Yeah. So mutual break. And then you go like, okay lah. Then you realize how much of your kind of like everyday routine and all the things that you used to do for yourself, but because she wasn't a part of it, you wanted to include her, maybe she didn't do, then you kind of like compromise a little bit because it wasn't important enough. And then you kind of like shave off the things you enjoyed doing a little bit, you know? And you didn't mind when you were in a relationship. It's just that when you're out of it, you're like, oh, now there's all this empty space where it used to be filled with just kind of activity with the partner. Then you kind of like have to go like, oh man, I don't want to have to rely on anybody for my activity, for my sense of self, for the way I spend. So I'm going to like lock down on what is it that I want to do. Like I want to play video game for 15 hours. I want to be okay with that. Fine, right? I'm not gonna let anybody say you cannot do it. It's not good or it's not healthy or whatever. No, if I choose to do it, then I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it because it satisfies me. And if I stop, it's because I decide to stop. And that is the kind of like this because I'm very dependent on people as my nature. So this complete like struggle against it is because I want to not have to be. And that's my motivation for like just constantly doing all these weird little things, and just because it satisfies me. And that is the only thing that I live for nowadays, actually. Just like I have got an interest, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Actually, I do it.
But do you have a potential to be self-destructive?
Yes. I think most people do. I think a big part of that is identifying what is the healthy behavior, what's not healthy. You know what I mean? And I feel that as you grow older, you can identify it. If you have a genuine interest in growing. Let's put it this way: you and I both work at Trax, right?
Yeah.
And Trax FM is like the playground for all radio announcers. Meaning you can play whatever song you want to play whenever you want to play it, however many times you want to play it. Because Trax FM does not care about radio programming in terms of like how many times, whether artists should follow female or male or group or pop or rock or whatever.
It's not that they don't care. It's
they don't enforce.
They can't enforce.
They don't know. They don't. Okay, so let's just put it that way, right? The announcers aren't told
it's not that there's no parents. It's not that there's no parents. It's just that the parents are not. Yeah, the parents are not there. They're busy working on the things.
All right. So that is that. And then but when you think of a radio announcer as a job, that's your idea. You play whatever when you want to play. I want to show the world excellent taste in music. You know what I mean? I want to like play stuff that's never been played before and blow the minds of the public. Like, what is this quality that they haven't heard before? Like, you had that thought, right? Everybody who goes into the radio has that thought.
I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna change the world.
Correct. But then, who are the biggest radio stations in the world? Like, like top pop music and all that. And that's the kind of stuff that people who supposedly have excellent taste in music like to hate on. But at the same time, those are the songs that sell, that make the most money, that they get the most plays, right? So self-destructive is like doing the playground thing where you play whatever you want, whenever you want to play, without realizing that actually, if you really wanted to take it to the next level, there are other ways you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying adhere to a ring, but there are other things you can do lah to up the game, up the radio station, for example. But if you want to continue treating this like a parent, nothing wrong with that one also.
Yeah.
But you must be able to see the difference. So the same with like self-destructive habits, for example. I believe in like getting it out of your system a little bit. Like you do it until you don't want to do it anymore. Because eventually people get bored of stuff. And just give in to that. Like get bored and then move on to something else.
Something very simple, right? Like during this this whole MCO lockdown period, because the moment that, because I was on a diet before the MCO kicked in. I was trying to go like low carb and all that, because like legit a high carbohydrate diet gave me a lot of problems.
Okay.
Like with my stomach and bloatedness and all kinds of other stuff, like being tired and all that kind of stuff. So I went low carb for like a second or third time, and it was doing me a lot of good. Like I lost weight for sure. But even if I wasn't losing that much, I felt way better.
Right.
You know, like I had energy and I was able to like do a lot more. But when MCO kicked in, right, I don't know why, but the first thing in my head was like, okay, I'm not gonna freaking diet during MCO. Like it's tough enough. I'm not gonna freaking diet.
So you like backpedal and you like binge on food instead.
I just binged. I ate all the carbs. I ate every carb I saw, and then I doubled down. I ate even more, and I thought I was the only one. And then I later on I found out my neighbor, who before this cut down on the carbs, and he went intermittent fasting, and he shrinked. He completely shrinked. He looked like a different person altogether.
And then?
But during this MCO, he was like, yeah, same thing as me. First thing was like, bro, MCO kicked in. I'm not gonna diet. Like, what is this like? Like, it's stressful enough. I'm not gonna do this diet anymore. It's crazy. You don't know when your next paycheck is coming in, and somehow you want to eat. You want to do a diet, and diets are not cheap. Like, if you want to cut carbohydrates out of your life in Malaysia, that's not a cheap way to lose weight. You know,
Right.
Food wise, you're looking at very different options, right? So even he had that thing, right? And when we bumped into each other, it was like, hey, damn man, like we all look like what we looked like before we went on our diets. Yeah. So, but I am hitting that stage now where it's like, oh gosh, it was kind of like that same, what led me into going to that diet the second time round, which was, you know, the first time I did it, it was like, oh, I heard about this low carb thing. Maybe let's give it a try, because, you know, I like everything else I've tried didn't work. You know, let's try this. And it worked really well until I fell off the wagon.
Right.
But then I fell off the wagon, and then I went into that point where I indulged a bit too much. And then I was like, oh man, like, okay, now I'm really starting to feel it. Because now I really feel bad. Like, worse than before. So maybe I should really, like, go back to that diet. So I went back to that diet. Felt a ton better. And now I'm in that cycle again, where I let go of the diet, went completely batshit. And now I'm hitting that point in the batshit phase where, like, okay, this is getting stupid. Like, I literally don't feel good anymore. I wake up and I don't feel good. I go to sleep not feeling good. I need, like, even throughout the day I don't feel good. I know, like, how I know how good I could be feeling. You know? So yeah, I'm back at that stage where, like, okay, like, maybe it's time to, like,
start again.
Start again and rein that shit in, you know? So again, I don't remember how I got on this tangent,
because you're drunk, bro.
And dude, like, full disclosure, this is the first time I'm doing this podcast drunk.
I think you should do it more often.
And I'm glad it's with you.
Because we don't have to be so professional. It's okay. We get it. I get it. It's alright. We chill. Yeah. Have you ever gone into the radio station and, like, after like a couple of drinks, have you ever done the show drunk?
I've tried. Oh, I can't do it. Too much. There's like.
It's a radio rite of passage, bro. You need to have done it.
I did. I couldn't handle it. I did it once. I was like, oh, wait, I gotta, like, oh, wait, where's the button again?
Oh, dude, yeah, it is the most
Yeah,
miserable thing ever, man.
yeah, because people think it's like, when people think like drunk radio DJs, they're thinking, oh man, he's just gonna like look like play that song and it's just gonna and like groove to it. When the song fades out, he's just gonna come in, talk, and the next song just play, and then he just grooves some more. No. Like
No.
the reality is that we have to like figure out like 3 songs in advance, like what we're gonna play.
That's when
And
you
like,
play November Rain, Champagne Supernova. Which are like epically long songs.
Every
Give
time,
yourself
yeah.
like 15 minutes of like sleep
Yeah.
time.
But even then, you gotta like, okay, I gotta make sure I play this promo, that promo in between. And then like, oh shit, we're coming to the end of the hour. I need to end like on the dot so that
On
the
the
news
dot,
can come in
oh.
and for the teet, you know. Oh.
That is
So no,
that is difficult.
yeah, after I did 1 or 2 shows like that. I couldn't. So after that,
You're not
I
supposed to
went
do it
in
all
on
the
full
time. As long as you've done it,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like if you do it all the time, you've got a problem, Stephen.
Yeah.
That is a legit
I-
problem.
I know of guys who do better like not so sober.
They think they do better not so sober.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I think that's the thing. I don't think anybody does a show better when they're drunk. I think people do 2 things. One, people think they do because like if you're doing it and you're doing drunk, you think you're funny because you are not thinking straight, you're a bit mabuk. And
Yeah.
second, people subconsciously allocate the fact, oh, this guy was drunk, the station didn't burn down, he did a good job.
Yeah.
But I don't think they actually objectively do better.
Yeah. For live events, maybe yes, but for radio, radio is
There's too much thinking behind radio.
there's too much
planning.
planning. There's too much planning. It's like you're trying to pull off a bank heist that
Yeah.
needs to be coordinated according to the guards like schedules and shit when they change shifts and all that. But then you're drunk.
Especially if
You're
you're the
trying to
only
execute-
guy in the studio and there's no producer to like back you up, no like co-host to like, hey, you tahan the panel for me for a while. I really cannot take it, bro. Let me sleep these 2 songs. I
Exactly.
wake up and we'll do it.
Exactly.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. It's hilarious, man.
it's hilarious. I
Yeah.
swear to God, radio. It's got good times, lah.
Yeah. So, dude, like, okay, one thing I'm surprised by is that you haven't started like some form of like live stream, whether it be like a radio format or like a talk show format kind of thing, or even like a gaming thing, because like you're an avid gamer. Yeah.
Like, well, I've streamed on Twitch occasionally, and like, but that one was just wreaking havoc on my sleeping patterns and lifestyle habits. And even with the live streaming or podcast or whatever, I've thought about those things. I really have. But remember how I said earlier on, I think a little bit more about like just the longer game, just a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of me is just thinking like also in terms of like what is it that I'm going to do? You know, I could turn on the mic and I could start talking. But what am I going to talk about? And right now, one thing that feels a little bit important to me, because I'm not so sure, is to try and figure out like what the essence of that thing is. Like, what am I gonna say? What is it going to be about? You know what I mean? Is it just me talking? And if I'm just gonna be talking, like what am I gonna say? Who's gonna listen? What is the value that the person listening is gonna have? And I haven't figured that out yet. You know, it's one of those things that I want to do. Like I would have thought, like before the MCO started, in my head was like, you know what? I am going to think about how I'm going to execute my own podcast. It hasn't happened yet, lah. It's like Netflix has way too many anime to watch, so
Yeah.
like I'm still here. But the fact that I'm doing a podcast with you now, kind of like okay lah. I kind of did a
Starts
podcast,
it.
but not mine. But it's
Yeah.
okay. I'm still here.
No, dude, it's weird, man. Because like, I have a fellow comedian friend who he actually listened to my podcast when it first got started out,
Right.
and he told me like, dude, I listened to your podcast. It's pretty good. And my question with people who listen to my podcast is like, so why do you listen to my podcast? What is wrong with you? Why do you listen?
Right. But I feel like,
I enjoy it.
but isn't that the case with everything that you make though? Like you feel like, why are you watching my stuff? But why?
Yeah, it really is that. Like my Mulan video last time, right? When I put it out, I didn't know it was gonna be a big hit because it just seemed like a brain fart of an idea, and it was just like it was like a KPI thing for me lah. I just need to do one video a week, so this is the idea that just I did it in like a couple of hours, and it was just outdoor just like that. It was very quick, so very minimal effort. and then it blew up, and then like I remember Biju was one of the first people who commented on it, and her comment was OMG, the social commentary. And I was like, wait, what social commentary?
I was just trying to be funny.
Yeah. I was like, okay, what did I do here? Then after that, like it got picked up by like Mashable, Southeast Asia and shit. I was like, oh, comedian addresses racism with Mulan trailer. I was like, whoa! I wasn't trying to address anything. I was just a guy
you mean that
dicking
wasn't
around.
intentional?
Pardon?
You mean that racism thing wasn't intentional?
No, it wasn't because
Oh.
it's what I lived through.
That is so interesting, you know, because like when I watched it, I remember watching it, I remember thinking to myself, oh, wow, Steven doing, oh, this is
Yeah.
like multi-level shit, man.
Yeah, this guy
Oh.
got brain one, you know. This guy got brain.
Not even that, just like, oh, this is a very timely post at the right time with the right sub. Wow, how are you doing this?
My head was just like, oh, it's Mulan, they're all Chinese, and you got this girl running off to fight. And it was so dumb because like on my end, like the balik tongsan thing, right? It wasn't coming off as like, oh, this is a commentary on back in the day when this guy said this thing about the whole Malaysian Chinese identity and how they don't belong. It wasn't any of that. It was because like, oh yeah, I remember like this whole shit about like this guy called like Chinese people to balik tongsan.
This is a funny phrase, is
Like,
it?
yeah, it's just a funny thing. Like,
It's a funny phrase.
Oh, we need to balik tongsan because like, you know, we gotta like get out of here and shit. And then like yeah, the only part I really was really heartfelt from me was the end line was like where I said like because Malaysia is all I know, Malaysia tanah airku. You know, that to me was really the only not to say the only heartfelt part, but the only the main big emotional connection for me, because
Okay.
that whole piece, right, it was like it was really me dicking around and just expressing what I lived through, because growing up, like I was born in Singapore. I spent the first 9 years of my life there, and then I got kicked out.
How come?
You know, and then I came, I don't know, something up with the paperwork and all that, because my parents were both Malaysians. My brother was too old to be kicked out, apparently. He went through national service, then he got his citizenship. I wasn't given that option. I was just flat out like kicked out with immediate effect. Like I wasn't allowed to finish the school day. Like
Oh,
they,
damn.
yeah, like
Like, did you know you were gonna get kicked out, or decided to show up with like trucks and like put you in a Black Maria and tell you like, hey, balik tongsan?
I wish it was that impressive. No, but it was like they called my school up at the time and said this and told the school like, you need to remove this student from the school right now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so suddenly like the school just sent, like the principal just came to my class, took me out of the classroom, waited in the principal's office and said, okay, we need to wait here and I'm gonna call your mom or dad, and then like they're gonna come pick you up and you have to leave lah. Just like that. No, and mind you, I was like what, 9 years old. So like if it were me making that call, right, I would be like, I would call the principal and said, okay, look, can you please inform the parents of this child that after today to not bring him to the school anymore. Like he's
Right.
out of the country. We need him out of the country. Like he's
Right,
done.
right, right.
Right? Not like bloody like, oh, like he's still in class. Why not let's just pick him up, because you know that's the right thing to do. He's not gonna be a terrorist. He's not gonna like be traumatized by this shit. You know. So I mean, being kicked out of a country and all this kind of stuff, right? And somehow never feeling like I fit in anywhere, even in Malaysia. Like I do identify as Malaysian, but I'm also very aware of the fact that I'm always somewhat of an outsider,
Right.
because in my Chinese primary school I was like the kid that joined in like halfway through the year, and it was this kid from Singapore and who like never grew up in JB, like doesn't know like the local stuff going on and all this kind of stuff, very oblivious to stuff. I was very blur about like gangs and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And lingo and like messages. I don't understand when people say, when they say certain things, you know, like most people, when they say certain things, other people know that it actually means something else. I don't get
Yeah.
any of that. You know, I'm very like in your face. Yeah. And then when I went to high school, I was in a Chinese school of like 6,000 over students.
Right.
Realistically, I couldn't relate to anyone. I had friends, but I couldn't relate to like I couldn't like find like that
Your gang, no gang. Like no
Ah.
no like friend circle like that.
Yeah, I had friends and all that, but it was like, okay, something as simple as like looking for people who listen to the same music as I did.
Right.
I found zero. In a school of 6,000. So I've always been like the outsider kind of thing. So I think somehow all of that worked into my like comedy and like the videos I do. Like I'm able to, for some reason, I'm able to poke fun at certain things because I'm able to observe it from an outsider's perspective. Where like people say, "Oh my god, that's so Malaysian." Then yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm able to spot it and make fun of it because I'm coming from this like outsider point of view. Where like, oh, like you know, like this is a very you thing that you guys do, right?
Yeah.
You know, and with the Mulan trailer, it was very like, you know, that was what I went through lah. The whole, you want to study local university, you fat hope lah, you know. You know, you're a Chinese kid, all that. You wait lah. You wait. Some more Chinese school lah. You try lah. You know, and I was the kid in like Chinese high school that failed Chinese for 6 years.
Well done lah.
Not one single exam.
Chinese voice over talent, are you? Chinese voice over talent.
Yeah. So it's always, I've always been the outsider kind of thing. So like with the Mulan trailer, when I did it right, it's like all the stuff was like stuff I had heard. The Balik Tongsan thing was one that I heard growing up. You know, I remember feeling like what the hell is this? But at the end, like I also reconciled with the fact that look, like I've always come from this point of this perspective where like you can blame everything about your life, or you can accept the cards you have been dealt and work with it and figure out how to take things from there.
Correct.
You know?
That's a good philosophy, actually.
Yeah, because anyone can complain that, you know, oh, I'm not a Bumi Putra, oh, you know, I don't have a leg, oh, I lost my arm, oh, I have autism, oh, I have this, I have that. Man, you can complain about a myriad of stuff, and chances are I can find someone who has that same issue and obstacle as you, and they overcame it, and they did something else.
Correct.
You know, so to me, at a point, that's like there's no excuses lah. You are dealt the cards you're dealt with. You work within the whatever system you have to work within, or the rules that or the rule book or the game that you're offered lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you operate from there. Yeah. Again, I don't know how we got on this tangent because like
Deep lah. You're very deep.
boozy.
Boozy. It's the booziest podcast. It's the boozecast.
It's like fucking Dionysus or Dionysus or no one.
Dionysus, the
Dionysus.
god of like merriment and basic drinking
Yeah.
and the Greek pantheon.
Jim Morrison, man. Jim Morrison is what I'm traveling. I'm an American ghost on this cruise ship, stuck in the Caribbean with COVID-19. I don't know.
Terrible. I feel like I should be drinking too, like at this rate. Like, what is going on? Dude, you are like, you are entering a completely different plane.
Yeah, no, but dude, like, I mean, it is coming from a legit place lah.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So, I mean, part of like, dude, I actually had like an interview today with like a proper journalist from one of the newspapers.
Oh, see,
And-
what's it about?
It was about me. It was about me and my stuff. And
Very nice.
I've had my stuff like featured on like multiple news outlets, like online papers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
This was the first time a journalist actually contacted me and asked me questions. about who I was and why I was doing it. Like first time ever. And like my earlier stuff, I've like the Mamak King and all this kind of stuff, and the Hakuna Matata parodies and all that stuff, right? I had like journalists, like they would write articles and they didn't contact me or ask me anything. So at one moment, I went from unknown entity to believed to be a native Sabahan. To a guy trying to address racism through a movie trailer, like,
and now they know. Okay,
now they know.
Stephen Bones kicked out of Singapore age 9. Balik
I don't know.
Dongsan.
I don't know whether I'm getting like a full page article or like 2 paragraphs lah. I don't know yet lah.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But it was a nice change. It was a nice change. It was a nice change that someone actually bothered. You know.
What is this reputable publication? You must now name them to give them some credit.
The Sun, this guy called Bismi. So I don't know when it's going to be out. When it's out, he's going to tell me. So then I'll update it.
Now we know.
Yeah.
The Sun will call their sources.
The sun will shine tomorrow.
Oh man, this whole like COVID-19, man, this is so interesting. I feel like now everybody's just doing some form of like broadcasting or doing something that they like. Now everybody's a streamer. Like, you know, microphones are so damn hard to get now. Okay, like there is a shortage on microphones. I waited 2 months for this damn thing.
2 months, damn.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I ordered one mic and then I cancelled it, and then I wanted a XLR, and then but altogether 2 months. Like it doesn't take you 2 months to get a microphone. Okay.
Yeah. What? I remember you said you're using audio interface as well, right? What are you using?
My current audio interface?
Yeah.
I got an Audient ID4.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
That one was a recommendation from a Yuri Wong. So I was like, okay, you tell me what to buy. I just go and buy. I don't want to think so much. You tell me how much. Okay, never mind. Yuri Wong recommend, I believe.
Yes, because if anyone recommends you a Behringer, you stab them in the eye.
Because it's not great, right? But it's super cheap though.
It's
terrible,
not,
is it?
It's not great. It's borderline garbage.
Because right,
I mean,
like I've
hate
seen it in
crapping
real
on
life,
brands,
and even like the my tongue is
The fader.
The fader. Ooh, radio announcer don't know what the thing is called, fader. The fader, even the fader is like the shaky kind can fall off that guy. I'm like, I don't trust you lah.
When I used to mix for like live events, right? There was one time I got like this big ass Behringer mixer board.
Right.
For live sound.
Yeah.
All right. So with live sound mixers, every now and then you get like maybe a channel that's not working well.
Yeah.
Because maybe wear and tear, whatever lah. You know, maybe like channel 1 that's always constantly being used, right? Cause maybe that strip's gone. So you move on to the next one. So I had to mix like, I think it was just like 5 singers and a piano and some music.
Right.
So I remember channel 1 had a problem. So I was like, okay, let me duplicate the settings on a different channel. You know, exact same settings, and then just like plug it over.
Right.
It sounded completely different. And then I was like, okay, fine. Like, let me try this again. Let me try a different channel.
Right.
Same settings. It's like plug it over. Completely different again.
Behringer.
And then I've had experiences with Behringer where like you have a knob that clearly goes from like 0 to like maybe like 10, right?
Right.
And then like when you're at 0, it's like, okay, no sound.
Yeah.
Right? No sound. You go to 1, okay, got sound. And then from between 1 to 8, right, it's the same. And then you get to the end, it's like boom! Like, whoa.
Oh man.
Yeah. So Behringer is not a sponsor of this podcast, and I
Definitely not, and they never will be at this point.
Yeah. Red wine
Even
and Jägermeister though. I'll take a Jägermeister any day.
100 plus for me, thank you. I accept isotonic drinks.
Stay hydrated.
That's right.
Yeah, but the audience is a good choice though. It's a good thing you asked Yuri.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a big fan of like deferring to people who know better, and then once people who say they know better, then I would just like go with it.
Because I think
it's nice to have trust in friends.
Yeah.
Like, don't you? It's nice to have people that you have who know what they're doing, And when you ask them, they give you like a no nonsense bullshit thing, and they know how to ask you the right kind of questions to make you feel even better about like your choice.
Yeah, but I do have this theory, right? Where like expensive stuff works with expensive stuff, and cheap
Okay.
stuff works with cheap stuff.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So one time, my band, when we used to play at this bar, one night I think like the percussionist forgot to bring his cajon. And then like he forgot like everything that he was supposed to bring, like I think was in a separate car, so he like drove out and he didn't realize it and it was all not there.
Right.
So he ended up having to play like he had his drumsticks, but he had to play like I think the mic stand or something, like some like really ridiculous stuff lah.
Okay.
Like ghetto. This is as ghetto as it got lah.
Okay.
So at the venue there were like two different choices of mics, like
Right.
the more, you know, the reputable stuff like the Shure and all that kind of stuff, and then you have like the no name microphones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was trying to like mic up like mic stands, you know, like mic up the mic stand so when he hits it, there's like
Make a sound.
Make a sound.
How did that work out?
When we used the expensive mics, it sounded like absolute garbage.
Right.
Because I mean, yeah lah, because you're just like hitting a freaking mic stand, right? But when we use the cheap mics and then we like tweak it a bit, it was like, yeah, you know what? Can lah.
So are you trying to tell me I need to buy a more expensive mic? Is this your way of telling me to buy a more expensive mic for my?
No. Like there is that thing where like there is that thing of like if you want to go cheap, sometimes like there's a like cheap stuff sells well, and usually there's a very good reason behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not talking like Behringers. No, Behringers, there's no excuse for Behringers, but like below the Behringers. Like below the Behringers, there's stuff like way cheaper. Like, okay, like we just did a show, the Chapfa show with BB and Joanne, right?
Yeah.
So BB bought this thing like called the V8 sound card, which is like
Right.
$80 for like for the audio interface that comes with sound effects and multiple connections and all this kind of stuff. And then like for another $20-30 you get the microphone.
Right.
And I'm like, when she initially told me, right, my first instinct was, "Aiya, that's too cheap lah. Aiya, cannot make it lah." But then when I took a deeper look at it, I was like, you know what? If you're looking to sing karaoke on your phone with like an iPad running the song and like your phone recording you and all that kind of stuff, there literally is no other option. There is no better option.
Oh.
Like this thing was built with people like that in mind.
Mobile karaoke singers.
Mobile karaoke singers, and some have used them to great success. You know, so I'm like, okay, if someone's used it to great success, then I don't want to knock it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, clearly the guys that are developing all the high-end stuff and all that, right? They're not even aware of this market or looking for it.
Like neglecting the mobile karaoke singer market.
Yeah.
You know what?
And then, like,
Behringer's gonna move into it soon, okay?
No. Behringer's too good for that and too bad for it at the same time. Because when I was trying to recommend an option to BB at the time, right? I told BB, I was like, look, anything I'm gonna recommend you is gonna run you like at least 1,500 and above.
Walao eh.
Yeah. I mean, true enough lah. Like, your mic and your audio interface, and then you have to send that signal out to your phone and like, you know, all the extra.
Oh yeah. Correct.
So that's really like the bare bottom amount I can suggest. And then you have this thing that's like $80, like $80, 100, 110, 120 after you add in all the bits and bobs.
Take it and go.
Take it and go. And it worked. You know, to whatever purpose that BB wants to use it for, it works. So I'm like, you know, there is a little merit in that lah. You know, like cheap stuff does serve a purpose. Yeah, like I'm sure, like dude, like this backdrop of mine, like I'm sure if like some photography snob came, they'll be like, hey, this is like some cheap ass background you have on some cheap ass stands with some cheap ass lights. But I'm like, hey, I don't know. I can tell the difference. It works for me.
Is that cloth behind you used for like extra deadening of the room for your recordings?
No, I actually had my room treated by this company called Begins Acoustics.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so there's like actual like proper like acoustic foam everywhere in the room.
Wow.
This is like a backdrop I use for like my videos and all that. So like there's green at the back underneath, and there's like another white layer underneath as well.
Oh.
I put it on a stand. I'm just using this because like I don't want to like show off like the rest of my room to the entire universe. Kind of thing.
It works. It works. Adds a little mystery to the whole thing.
I look like a terrorist doing a live stream. Oh, ISIS kind of thing.
Okay, well, they got a lot of views.
Yeah, I got a lot of views.
Got a lot of views. A lot of people are interested in the content. Every
picked
time
up by
they,
mainstream
they put
media.
a video, they went viral one. So okay.
Oh man. So yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Crazy, man, crazy. Oh god.
I know.
Ah.
Dude.
But yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to see what you come up with, because I can totally identify with you on the whole experimenting thing, and it's a platform, and like again, like on my end, I think like the blessing of my first few videos blowing up was the fact that yeah, they blew up, and it was a very clear sign that maybe this is something I should take on seriously. But on the other end, it's the curse was also that, because they blew up, like I couldn't just like muck around and experiment until something worked.
Yeah.
Like I landed on something that worked a bit too well, and then I'm like, okay, why did it work? It's like, what did I do? What did I do? Like,
Hey, you're the guy that makes videos that end up making social commentary on racism when you're really talking about your own life story, okay? So I don't know lah. You maybe got this. This is your superpower. You should just keep at it, okay? Don't think. Your job is not to think.
I do, and then like,
you failed Mandarin in high school. You don't have to think. It's proof. Thinking is not for you.
it's like, oh my god, your work is amazing. You did this. I was like, wait, what did I do again?
At this rate, you're gonna end up being the Forrest Gump of like video creators, you know. That's what's gonna happen. You know, you're just gonna end up like doing something and then just like, oh, I don't know. I have like about good chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Create, Steven, create.
And there you have it, my friend.
Yeah, just me with like leg braces and like my entire body is in braces lah. Oh god. Oh god. I don't know, but okay, like, have you been cooking during this MCO?
No, dude. Like my parents moved back in with me before MCO because I think they were worried that I was gonna die in a puddle of instant noodles, and it, like the first 2 weeks. At first, I thought like when it was 2 weeks, I thought like I can sustain myself for 2 weeks. Like shit, that's not a big deal lah, you know. But then they extended to like basically 2 months, right? Then in my head, I'm thinking, thank God they're around, because if they weren't, I'd have lost my mind from not talking to anybody.
Oh man.
At least like when they're around, I'll go down, I'll chat, we'll talk about breakfast or whatever, and then I go and do my own thing lah. But like I would have lost it. Like I have instant noodles coming out my nose, and I'd be like, what the hell? Language? What language?
But dude, like even for me, right? Like breakfast, sometimes like okay, if I wake up or sometimes like we have ingredients, so we cook breakfast and all that. But sometimes if we don't have that much, right, or like we're like, okay, don't know what to cook or no time, whatever, we just go and tapao, right?
Yeah.
I will still cook instant noodles for myself because I'm like, I don't want to eat outside food. I just like, my wife is like, there's so much choice outside, just get something. I say, no, I don't want. I just want instant noodles. There's something comforting about instant noodles,
It's so comforting, dude. It is. Yeah. It's food that will never go bad, you know. The zombie apocalypse happens, instant noodles will still be there. And you better develop a taste for it. If not, you will go hungry when the world ends.
And it doesn't always have to be samyang. It can be like myojo, parma.
Hey, I want you to know I'm a Maggi kind of guy, okay?
You're a Maggi guy.
I'm a Maggi guy. I don't need that samyang Korea. No. Maggi all the way, as long as it's tom yum.
Maggi tom yum.
That's right.
I don't know. Maggi has always like I enjoy the broth and everything, but the noodles always like my ideal combination would be like Myojo noodles, but with Maggi like soup.
Oh, you could actually do that. Actually, like just buy 2 packets and like swap it out, lah.
We both know how easy that actually is.
But we're not gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask your wife to do it for like an anniversary gift or something? Maybe we got married so many years already. All I want for you is to just go and tapao some Myojo and Maggi.
Yeah. No, there's not enough love in this relationship to pull that off. The romance is just like, it's like, got kids to raise. Don't have
How long
time
have you
to
been married
indulge.
already? Yeah.
Not that long, dude. Because like my eldest is turning 6 this year, so about 6 years lah.
That's pretty damn long. 6
Alright.
years is pretty long.
We
Like-
were dating for about 4 years before we got married, and we were already
altogether-
living together at that time.
Altogether 10 years, but you've been married for 6 years. And let's face it, like we're about the same age. So 6 years that like you had a kid like a lot earlier than a lot of my friends did.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
So it's
Dude,
quite
it wasn't. All right. To my kid who's listening to this in the future.
continue, please
Like-
finish your sentence.
No, the original plan when we got married was because we got married and then we were like, okay, like let's do a honeymoon in Taiwan and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then like I kind of knew that, you know, I didn't want to just do the honeymoon in Taiwan. I actually told my wife like, okay, you know what? Let's do the wedding honeymoon in Taiwan, but like our real honeymoon, let's like save money up for a year and then we'll go to Europe and do, because I really wanted to see Germany. I really
Right.
wanted to go to Germany for like
Okay.
a 2-week, 1 month thing and just like get shit, just like get hammered and eat pork and just die there, right? Went to Taiwan, did a bit too well, and
Stephen boned everything.
came back. I was like, yeah, dude, it's not like, and it was from this weird angle, right? From this thing where like, my brother got married earlier than me,
Right.
and he's the one that actually like really wants kids. He really loves kids, and he really wants his own. You know? So he got married way earlier than me, and he only got his first kid like recently,
Okay.
like a month or 2 ago. That's how recent he got his first kid.
That's very recent, yeah.
Yeah, after being married for quite a while. And on my end, I was the one that never wanted children. I was the one that wanted to die when I was 40 years old in a flaming ball of glory, like a flaming blaze of glory kind of thing. Suddenly I got married and then I was like, you know what? Okay, married, fine. And then relatives are like, you know, before you get married, they're like, oh, you're dating this girl so long already. Oh, you need to do the right thing. You should get together, commit to each other, then have someone to take care of you. Think of the future.
Oh, I've heard that line so many times, man. It's such a it's peer
So I
pressure.
got-
It's an MLM cell, that one.
Yeah. So I listened to my mom and I was like, okay lah, just get married, right?
Yeah, right.
Get married, put the ring on right after that. It's like, oh, you know, you can't just get married, right? You know, why is the reason to get married for? You get married to have children, you know.
Never ending, is it? It's like fucking never ending.
Yeah, and then after you have one, right, they're like, actually, you know, because you want 2 people, you won't need to have at least 3 kids, then you're adding to the population. What?
No.
what
The
is
one they
this?
always say is if you only have 1 kid, they're very lonely. He needs a
very
somebody
lonely.
to companion to grow up with. You're like,
Ah.
can get a dog, right? Bloody hell.
No, my answer is if I never had that first kid, I wouldn't have these problems to deal with. Ayo.
That's
No
why
lah,
I say,
but yeah.
see, that's why I say it's an MLM sell. Like after every stage, they upsell you on something else.
Yeah, it's dude. My advice to like anyone who hasn't gotten married or who's thinking of having kids is just don't, because I'll be very clear. I don't hate my kids. You know, it's not like I don't like them or whatever.
It's very good. They're probably watching this while you're on your deathbed, trying to decide whether to
exactly.
pull the plug or not.
I'm like, it's like, all right, I guess I don't want the inheritance anymore. But it's different, lah, dude. It's different.
It's not
because-
easy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we exist in a time where like people are trying to tell you like you should be yourself and live the life you want to live and be free, live your dreams and all this kind of stuff. But when you have kids, dude, it's a totally different ball game because like it's not about you anymore, but somehow you still have to make it about you still need to be happy at some point,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you need to look out for them and then um like I had this conversation with a friend of mine, Biju, but I was discussing with her like saying that I'm trying on my end to increase my income and diversify my work so that I can earn more, so that my wife has the option to not work.
Mm.
You know, this way so that she can have time to provide for the kids and all this kind of stuff. And then she was
Yep.
bringing up the fact of like, well, I hope your wife is agreeable to that, and I hope it's a plan that you guys have mutually that you both mutually agree on. And my answer was that, well, I think as much as I'm aware, I think it's agreeable, but at the same time, it's like, I've also brought up the thing where like, I have a plan to get this certain amount,
Yep.
which I know if I can achieve this certain amount, I can pay for everything and I can like, save for the kids' college fund and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
All right. And if we're going into the territory of like, oh, but if I stop working, I won't and I have to just take care of the kids, I won't feel fulfilled and blah, 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 and I'm not going to be living my happiest life and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Then for me, it drives it into a gray area because like what makes you think me going down this path is the happiest thing for me? Because like part of it is like I'm part of why I'm going down this path is so that I can provide,
Right.
and it's as much as I'm trying to find things that are enjoyable for me and like that align with who I am as a person to do. It is still work and sacrifice. It is still like time away from family, and I could I've told my wife, like said, like right up front, I said, if you have another plan for getting this amount of money on a regular basis to provide at this scale, I will happily sit home and take care of the kids. But if you don't, like, this is the best shot I have right now.
Mm.
So it's like, how lah? If everybody wants to live their ideal version of a perfect life, but no one but then you have kids, and then no one is willing to sacrifice. I do think in most cases, I'm not saying in all cases, but in most cases, someone's gonna suffer. And if the parents are not suffering, chances are it's gonna
The
be
kids will suffer. Yeah.
right? We've all heard stories of like like high-powered parents working like high-powered jobs, earn a lot of money, but at the end of the day, no time to spend with the kids. So the kids are like raised by the workers, like the maids and all those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That is a very common story we hear, right? So, yeah, I am a firm believer of like, if you want to have kids, then you make sure you spend time raising your kids lah. Because if not, later when they grow up and when they become like pieces of shit, then
It's your fault.
it's your fault lah. Exactly.
It's true.
It's your fault, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Kids are a responsibility lah. Like
Don't have kids.
I'm definitely not prepared for that. I had a plant once. It was a succulent. I was told this succulent doesn't require a lot of water. It still died from like not being watered. So I think parenthood is a long way off the
And
long way away from me.
and I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Children need a lot more water.
I'm just gonna hold off for a minute. That's what I'm saying.
Take your time, man. Take your time. Take your time.
I'm in no hurry, man.
Yeah.
I honestly am having the best time of my life right now. I think like like global pandemic and like uncertainty and the path of like figuring yourself out. I mean, we never really finish finding ourselves, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you are interested in that sort of thing. But like I was asked a while ago, like, when in your life would you say was the best time when you had the most fun, right? Or the best time in your life? Some people it's like, oh, when they were young or when they were in college or whatever, right? Like honestly, I feel like now should always be the best time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you okay? Like for me, I don't. I find it a little bit off-putting when people keep reminiscing about, oh, I miss my high school days. I was so free. I was like,
Correct.
oh, I wish I was primary school. I was like, no, you should be enjoying like now.
Correct.
As good or bad as it is, like you should be enjoying now.
Also, mostly because your taste will change. Let's say, for example, partying like a rock star in like your 20s is a lot of fun and it was the best possible time. But in your 30s, like you don't have to party like that and you can still have as good a time. You don't have to live up to those days because also when you're 30 plus, you like can't be fucked to like leave the house sometimes because it's so much easier.
If I drink too much, it's gonna like my gout is gonna kick in.
right. So that's the thing. Like, I feel like the mindset on this is very important. Like, and I feel very strongly about like making sure that you always have a good time. Like now is the best time, and it doesn't mean like you said earlier. Like it doesn't mean that you're not gonna. It doesn't mean that there won't be shit that you won't enjoy doing. There will always be stuff that you won't enjoy doing, but the overall result is this is a good time, and that's it. And that's the core, man. And if you figure that out, you can keep that going. You're all right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
There's a podcast where two guys in white t-shirts dishing out life advice, ladies and gentlemen.
One drunk and one like really hopped up on 100 plus.
Isotonics, man. It's the isotonics, man.
That's
it's the
right.
Isotonics.
What are you on, dude? I'm on the isotonics,
Yes,
man. It's the next level.
It's the next level. Oh my gosh. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, so what do you reckon we can expect from Jeremy Teo in the coming months of the year?
I have no idea. Like,
okay, because you are a public figure.
not as much now as I used to be, I would imagine.
Yeah, but still, like the name still carries some kind of weight, whether you like it or not. So, when it comes to experimentation, do you reckon you will feel any pressure, or are you not like?
There's always a little bit of pressure, I imagine, because like you think a little bit about, there's that whole like, okay, what do I want to do? What do people know me for? What do people expect of me? And there's a little bit of that. But to be fair, there's also a lot of like, so what? Let's just do it lah. So I'm constantly battling. So there is like expectation, but at the same time, it's not like I know what I want to do. It's not like I'm suddenly telling you like, you know what, Stephen, I want to be the world's best banjo player, and all my content from now on it will be about playing the banjo, right? I don't even know how to play a string instrument. Like that is like, Jeremy, you are not on the right path. This is nobody expects this from you. You do not have the skills to do it. Why are you even talking about this? Right? So the idea is just like, okay, I gotta figure out like what it is first lah. And right now I'm just having fun, just doing what I do.
Have you ever considered like a behind the scenes role? Because I remember you had a social media thing going on.
I did. That was another thing that fell apart in the season of misery that I had, where my station closed, my relationship fell apart, and then the company also hancur because of partner disputes. All that same time. It's amazing. I'm still laughing with you right now.
How did you deal with that, dude? Okay, it's one thing if like one of those things happen, but when like they happen in a string, you're like, okay, from what I know, you did not win the lottery. Like you did not like buy 4D number because of any of these things, and then you struck it like $1 million. Like, as far as I'm aware, that didn't happen lah. So like, how did you keep sane? How did you keep it together?
I think like you put it very early on. That's my philosophy as well. Like you said earlier on, like sometimes you get dealt the cards you're given and you just play them, right? Like that's it. Like I don't think of the things that happen as a reflection of who I am. That's got nothing to do with me. These are just things that happen like around me. You know what I mean? Like it's just a result of like fate or whatever. Like these things happen lah, right? And it didn't work out. And And would it have been great if all of those things worked out and brought me to like some form of peace and prosperity? And yeah, of course. But it doesn't. It never always does. And you just roll with it, lah. You know what I mean? Like, because even in the situation where things were not great, I will always do my best to remind myself that I'm actually very fortunate. I had the opportunity to work at a radio station for like so many years and like build a kind of like career out of it. I had the opportunity and even in all those things that didn't work out, like my family's still okay, you know, the bills are still getting paid. Things are a little tight in the beginning, but you pivot and you try and you move a little bit into it, and you just play whatever cards you're dealt and just have a little faith that ultimately, as long as you're not an evil scumbag, backstabber, backdoor, like Sheraton going politician, you'll be okay. I'm just saying some people deserve bad things happening to them.
Yeah.
And I don't think we are those people.
Gosh. Man. But yeah, it's an interesting ride, man. It's an interesting ride.
It is.
I had a very clear point I wanted to mention, but
you forgot?
yeah, I forgot.
That's for part 2 of the podcast.
That's for part 2. That's for part 2. Oh my god. But yeah, you were talking. You were talking about the fortunate life. Oh yeah. Okay, now I remember. One of the lowest points in my life where I had this project come in, and it was for an audio documentary, and it was about the Burmese refugees in Malaysia and the lives they were leading. And this lady from the States, she interviewed a whole bunch of them. So I was doing audio at the time, so I had to like listen through and edit.
Right.
So I felt like I was going through like the worst period of my life, and then like I was listening to
super
stories
depressing.
about, yeah, no, it was actually uplifting in a way, because I was hearing these stories about guys, people who were like, there was a guy who was stuck, like he was basically a slave on a fishing ship, fishing trawler ship.
Yeah.
And then like how like the captain will always give like methamphetamines to the crew to keep them like working, and sometimes if there's a storm he'll give them even more just to make sure that they're able to survive the storm and all that kind of stuff, and eating like rotten fish and all that to get by as the regular meals. And then like how he like escaped one night during a storm and just floated on a piece of wood and ended up like floating onto I don't remember which state it was, but like he floated onto shore, got took in by his family, and somehow survived. And then this was just one of the stories. One of the stories, and there were other stories about like this guy who escaped the country, but the army went after his family, and like there was like a lot of messy stuff going on. There was this girl who came over, but like in order to get over, like she I think the government's troops or whatever came to her home because they found out like her brother or something was like a rebel or had information or something like that, and like was like torturing or beating up the father. And then like her and her auntie or something were hiding in the closet, so they kind of saw everything. And then like even when they tried to flee the country, like she had to like escape through like fruit trucks and all this kind of stuff. So they like you know, like they're buried inside like a truck full of fruit, and you know lah, it's not ideal situations lah, and they get like harassed by the people who are trying to bring them over and all this kind of stuff.
Some real survivor stuff lah.
Real survivor stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, of all the times I could have been working on an audio documentary, it had to be at a time where I was going through like what I thought was like a low point in my life.
Right.
You know, and then I was like, I listened through all that and I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe, like, just maybe I don't have it that bad lah.
Right.
You know, yeah.
That is so important to be able to say. Like,
Yeah.
like as terrible as things are,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the bad things that you go through sometimes are just reflections of how fortunate you are. Like how, like, you know, radio station closed down, they have a job. Never mind, you were lucky enough to work in radio station, right? Or like girlfriend or fiance, like relationship didn't work out, but at least you had relationship. People love you or loved you at some point.
Yeah,
You know?
and there's
company
there's
broke
always that-
down. Never mind. At least you built something.
Yeah, at least you did it before.
Yeah.
And it's not like that thing you built fell apart and then there's nothing else left that you can do.
And there's
There's still
always
something else you can do.
There's
There's always
always
something
something you can do. I think that's the
Yeah.
important thing. You just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, if you've survived to this point of the podcast,
Oh, damn long podcast, way.
I know. And if you've listened to all of this and you've taken everything in, please support Jeremy Teo in his upcoming project, which is a roadside Maggi goreng stall.
I will promise to give you extra telur.
Extra
My
telur.
telur very nice.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Really appreciate it. Cheers.
See ya.